Miranda's gonna try to get it up on the screen.
So now we
She
have
hasn't.
multiple items here within the, regarding the restructuring of the area of agency of aging, and along with the DSS. So we have these packets with the PowerPoint presentation, I believe, is here, and then we're working to get that up on the screen so
Yes.
we can give Miranda a chance to see. Yeah, gonna have a lot there. Or
Yeah, the laptop's being slow.
we'll give it a minute. Well, I think we can probably get started a little bit while
Yes.
you're working through that. So we have first in there creation of positions, and maybe we should do kind of an overview. Again, we've been through it, but of what the overall objective is here.
I'll defer with you.
Okay, so what we're trying to do is get a more efficient department and having a little more administrative oversight. Same with like the fiscal office. There's the office of me currently. So that kind of doesn't help with like checks and balances of what's going on, and it's been something. But we made a new organizational chart.
Okay.
It kind of reverts back to a few years ago, would be like 2021 guidelines.
Do you know what page that's on?
Towards the back. It's titled
The
Organizational
fourth
Chart
one from the back. From the back,
for
yeah.
AAoA division of HHS.
So it's different from the last one.
Probably not. I think she has it's just looking different, yep. This has all the budget lines on it. We would be reducing 3 outreach workers, senior outreach workers. We would eliminate the director of office, or director of aging, deputy director fiscal lead, with 3 senior outreach workers, a part-time aging services aide, and a program aide.
It may help you get the history behind this. I'm not sure where we are with the presentation.
Not looking too good.
Not looking
Not
good.
looking good.
Maybe we can just for
Go
the
through the
sake of your
packet.
time and for the sake of
Yeah.
you know, if
Okay.
it does come up, it'll be flashier on the screen, obviously.
Okay.
So Michelle and I were together on this presentation to help frame this discussion to the chair's point. All right, so if I can indulge you, we just kind of
Yeah.
the old school flip
Yes.
chart.
Claire,
Yes,
Okay, so first page here, one of the things we reference is the over 60 population of Chenango County. Chenango County's population overall has decreased from 2021 to 2025 by just shy of 1,000 residents. So we have a relatively slowly, as Mr. Crane has referenced in budget talks, a slowly shrinking population of Chenango County overall. However, you know, Census Bureau information and other information, our number of residents over 60 and over has remained basically static for those years. It's varied between, you know, just under 14,000 people, which is roughly 30% of the population. So just by way of understanding, the over 60 population has not actually increased substantially over those 5 years. The age quintile is actually has changed to the younger populations, which have actually left the county. Next slide. Now to compare the budgets, and I'll let Michelle kind of speak to this too. Now we're comparing the same time period from 21 to 25, 26, just so that everybody's on the same page with that. The adopted budgets for aging between 2021 and 2026 have increased 37%. So that 37% increase in budget in those years, and that's established in the numbers, obviously. So just by framing the conversation, the budget has increased 37%, but the overall census has not increased 37%. And the amount of services
The number of cases
doing
were
things has not
closed.
increased 37%. So just, yes.
Okay, before you go on, but I don't know prior to when I got here, is it a 3 or 4% increase on wages every year? What?
Depending on,
Okay.
yeah, depending.
But, I mean,
Fringe benefits,
Is this the
insurance,
cost?
all that has gone up?
I think if
for
you,
every department, how did every department reflect like this?
That's what I'm curious.
Like DPW,
I-
tax map, whatever.
I
Are
think
their
that-
percentage in their increase the same or near?
I think the subsequent slides help explain some of your
Okay,
questions.
okay.
But I appreciate the questions, obviously.
Okay.
And let's
Um,
also point out that your 37% increase is primarily attributed to new positions, it says.
And that's what I'll let Michelle do.
Okay.
Because these were obviously not,
Yep, so the next slide shows the difference between what we had in '21 and what was added and what we currently have now. Most of the positions that were taken away were low-level paying positions and then added into administrative positions with a much higher pay scale.
And that's what we're seeing in red at the bottom of this
Yes,
list?
those are the
Those
current ones.
The newer ones?
Yeah, that's the 2026, what we have currently, what the pay is.
in other words, if you look at that chart, your salary comparisons between what was eliminated and what was added resulted in a 63% increase in salary costs,
Right.
just in that particular
Not to
area.
consider all over funding, just
the
personal
salary,
costs.
correct.
And we can see on the 2026 column, the ones near the top that have the dashes are the ones that were eliminated, right?
Correct.
That is
And so
correct.
down at the bottom, the ones in its place. You
Correct.
have two program aid positions at 29,000 and one at 28,000.
Right.
Where that program aid I see down at the bottom, two of them at
Yes.
38,000.
Yes, and these are salient points. Those dashes represent program aid, outreach worker, these specific positions were eliminated
Mhm.
in lieu of these senior positions that were created, which resulted in a 63% salary increase for those positions.
Mhm.
So hopefully that explains
Well,
that.
So I
If you
think that's important when we get further down the road and you talk about retitling the senior positions as program aid positions.
Sure, yes, I think that would be
Well,
cool.
I think you need to look at the extra higher positions. That's 634%
That-
over.
My understanding is that actually represents the drivers because of public transportation.
Transportation used to
Because we
do
added
that,
that
and then
for the nutrition.
now it is
which
through
is
here
needed.
nutrition.
Okay, because if you look at the
Yes, then-
overall 25% of increase, and it's 6 years, 4% times 6 is 24%. Those are not extravagant numbers.
No,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna disagree with you all. 25% increase for a director of agent over a 6-year period is about a 4%, 4.1 maybe. I can do the math.
Right.
I mean, look at that. If
But-
you talk,
Those aren't
this is,
those
Looking
aren't
at
the
the ones on
positions
the
we're
bottom
speaking
there.
of.
Okay.
The ones at the bottom in red.
okay, these are what you're speaking of.
Yes.
So they went from a 49,974 position to a 54,000 salary. Am I correct?
That's right, depending on, right, some, they got
Because
rid
if they
of,
were an outreach worker that got put up to a senior worker, you're talking 50,000 one, and then the other ones are 54. It's
Correct.
about a $5,000 difference. On 1, 2, 3,
And then take a look at the fringe benefit line and how much that increased because of those new positions.
And this increases that happen every year to that.
exactly. Where's the, what line
That's
is
at the very
that?
bottom.
Right at the
very
bottom.
last one.
Just above totals.
That's 189%.
That's their
Benefit.
insurance, retirement,
All of that,
all of that in there.
longevity.
Plus
all
New
of
York
it.
Connect.
Social Security.
But New York Connect, I'm still gonna argue with you should not be in part of this, because that's all grant funded. Are there fringe benefits grant funded too?
I think when we get to the point about the
Okay.
the connection, it should.
Okay.
yep.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's just showing the difference of if you go to the next slide, it'll actually show the
And it is on the screen now, so.
Yeah,
We
it is.
have it on the
Yes.
screen.
Yeah.
This will show what they eliminated in '21 and what they have now created, the differences of the titles and the drastic difference of salary, which of course the normal increases and everything is also in that. But there was a lot of lower positions, secretary or typists, program aides that they removed to make a deputy and a second deputy, really. I mean, the senior outreach isn't a whole big difference between the outreach, but the deputies that were probably not necessary were made.
Well, according to the law, we're supposed to have a deputy, always, but it's been unfilled, correct?
Not for NYSOFA, no. They just have to have someone, like a coordinator or someone
It doesn't
in
matter
there.
what the title is, it just matters.
No, by
the
ask.
certain duties.
Okay.
You definitely don't have a second deputy.
Well, the
director.
second deputy is the fiscal
Can I-
manager.
Can I ask a question, maybe you may not know?
Which took over as the budget.
Right, didn't we have a problem with filling budget technician per the job description thing? So
Yeah, I
that's why
think
we
people
made
that
it
are
a
qualified
deputy?
don't want
Am
that
I right?
pay.
Okay.
Yes.
So
From my
the-
understanding, I don't.
So the second deputy director really isn't a second deputy director, it's the fiscal
fiscal
financial
person.
officer.
Correct.
It should have been titled a little bit different. So that is that job.
So to that slide, basically the comparison is these positions that were eliminated, these positions are created, the differences in salaries, which is about 68% increase in those salaries. The roles and responsibilities of these positions, as I understand it, there's discussions about services and positions not being, they flowed down to these red lines. Those duties and those roles flowed down to these red lines. At a 68% increase in salary. I'm not saying other than that is a fact based on the numbers, so. Go ahead.
So, did anyone have any questions on that one?
So we're basically retitling or retitling positions.
Right.
Correct.
So the,
You're saying we're eliminating positions, but we're
Right,
not firing people.
Right, we're gonna
just
improve.
giving them.
Elimination the wording is there obviously for technical
Union,
reasons, but the
CSA.
reality is that the positions will be reclassified. The
Then-
roles will,
that-
if you can envision it, if you look
There
at
will
what
be a
Michelle is
couple
talking about,
laws.
if you look at what Michelle is talking about, the things that are in the red now would flow back up to the black.
Right.
Does that help explain it? So,
and so instead of the deputy director, it's gonna be a coordinator of services for agents.
that's good.
Okay, so that line's going up there.
Right.
What is, did we have any salaries on those?
Oh, for,
Yeah, 63,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, those are in there too.
So, okay, that's,
I'm confused still a bit, so can we continue on with the
yeah,
presentation?
and then go back.
Maybe that will help clear us up a little bit.
Yep, we can go to the next one. The next one is literally just a bar graph of what we just showed you, showing in 26 how much more the salaries are compared to 21 of the jobs that we got rid of. Some of them are double at this point.
I'd just like to say, I don't think this is completely fair because there was contractual increases in there that would have happened
Absolutely.
anyway.
Yeah,
No,
That's all.
It's just no, absolutely. I don't think anybody's ignoring
So the whole
those
total
points.
is not just
The whole
because
total.
of
Yeah,
title
that's
changes.
68% is not.
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
A percentage of that would be the normal.
Normal-
Yearly.
Normal increases.
I think what you're juxtaposing though is the idea that if you, to the prior comment, if you look at other programmatic growth and cost charts, they're drastically different in my experience than something of this nature, where you don't usually have an advance of that degree in most programmatic forms that I'm familiar with, so.
Okay.
Does a lot of this have to do with the fact that we got those vehicles and are doing home deliveries and extra staff?
That is in the extra hired section, but
that's
that
not-
money equaled what we were paying public transit anyway, so that washed
Wash
out.
out.
Yeah. That was a contractual bill that they had prior to that.
Do you think if we had filled the deputy director, those senior positions wouldn't have had to take on so much, because the way you're presenting it now, well, it's gonna be called coordinator, is gonna take on the high cap. Those
They're
four
gonna
senior
take the-
positions, they weren't just outreach workers. They each had something that they took control of.
Right.
That's why they got the increase of pay, because one was doing high cap, one was doing peer, I can't remember all the four, I gotta look at my
Personal
thing.
Air Connect and
Yeah.
caregiver coordinator, yeah.
Right, so they were doing extra work for that because we didn't have a deputy in place.
I don't think it was.
Not
Because that's how it's being presented.
That's how it was
That's
presented
how it
at-
was presented, but that's not necessarily the case. I
Okay.
don't know how to say this without.
Well, that's my biggest fear
Correct.
is cutting 4 senior people, which I've heard the thing where they'll probably move up, but is that coordinator gonna be able to handle all that plus be the deputy?
Can I go into an executive?
Yes.
Are we gonna start naming?
Okay, I make a motion to go to executive session?
Second.
Yep.
We have a motion to go into executive session and a second by Mr. Wanzer. All in favor?
Aye.
We vote on that, that's to talk about personal history in particular.
Yes, personnel history.
Yes.
And thank you.
All in favor again?
Aye.
Okay.